Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so today it's coming through. Oh, the sunset's getting lovely. The that was my dog. Everybody okay? Okay. So the nervous system, our lovely little friends, keeping us alive, keeping us well, keeping us safe. So we're gonna have to kind of walk through what the control versus the protection. So how this comes through. This has been on my mind since this morning, and it's now dusk. So the control mechanisms that are within us that we do have to process through, because when we meet people that are over controlling in our life, it means our central nervous system keeps seeking that out, and it's a protection mechanism, and it's uncomfortable. It's not something that is always there to liberate, to come through as like your bestie for the restie, and that's where the inner struggle really gets hairy, shall we say. So let's break out the comb real quick. Let's break out a little comb and get into that lovely little fascia system that's within us. So how this kind of represents itself in a physical way is like when, I was talking with some of my tribe, and this one lady had just had a meeting with a gentleman who's working on his garage door, and something had gone awry, and he stiffened up, and his injury was quite severe for that control mechanism. If I don't want to be hurt right now, I'm not gonna give in. And that came through his emotion. He was very angry at the time, because when we're assessing when injuries happen, how it happened, when it happened, where it happened, the meaning behind it, the circumstances that were placed. So the control versus the protection. Bear with me on this one. I know it's a little hairy. That's why I've put off this video for so long today, trying to cultivate something that is going to benefit and can be seen, felt, heard in a way that everybody can kind of process it while we're in this lovely little dark realm of winter in the northern hemisphere. So when we have this modality that, oh, something's angering us, and then we seek to get the anger outside of ourselves, work it off, which is a natural, in some cases can be very healthy response, is, doing the exercises, doing the movement, shifting the energy. The only mechanism that we need to be very aware of is that we are in that tense anger state and we are doing something, the probability of injury skyrockets. So this is what I have been just gifted this morning as I was waking from dream time to present, was when we are in that state of friction, that state of tension, that state of I have no authority outside. Sorry, not Venomous. His little stuffy is as I talk about anger, my dog is like. So there's another form of anger. That's another video for another day. Anyway, so the tension that forms in our bodies when we come into the state of anger and it's never there because oopsie daisy. It's there because we feel in our system, in our bodily function, the energy that was out here has now come in. And so then we get that tight, rigid, just, right? When we go through to do anything about it, it becomes a state of, now I need to control it. Now I need to control, I need to protect myself. So how can we differentiate the protection versus the control? Because the anger is there as a protection mechanism. It's not there because you're a jerk. It's not there because you're being a bitch. It's not there for that. It is there to say something is going wrong, whatever it is. It's come into my field and now it's in my body and I am fully aware of it. I don't have a choice anymore. I can't look away from it. It's here. And pushing it away is not a form of processing. It's a form of, if I just hold this right out here and not feel anything in my system, I'm going to be okay. And that is not the case. We have to invite it in. We have to allow it in our system to work through it. The idea is to set the central nervous system to a default of, ooh, okay, I'm going to take a couple breathing moments for myself. And that is your self-protection. Rather than attempting to reach outside of yourself, to control, to coerce, to manipulate, to whatever it is, the other, whoever, or the situation, or whatever it is, to come back into your reality, accepting that the reality is already in your system, and the reality is that something went wrong, something went drastically wrong, and now I have to address it. So that deep cleansing breath is going to bring you back into a level playing field. Okay, I see this. I can assess the situation now. I don't have to hold on to this. Okay, I can have the and breathe into it. Breathing into it, acknowledging it, thanking it for coming, because it is there as a protection mechanism, rather than saying, this is my system's way of saying you need to exert more control as a form of protection. This is the dichotomy that's happening in our area of existence, if you will. So when we have the emotion, the feeling sensation in our body that tenses us, and then we try to go out and do anything with that tension still in our system, we are putting ourselves at risk. Okay, so rather than saying I need to control it, invite it in through the breath. Say, I already accept, acknowledge, and confirm this is my state at this current moment. This is about living in the moment. Everybody wants to make in this moment a fluffy thing. It's not. It's not always that. It's never intended to be that. It's honoring. It's honoring, okay, somehow, some way, at you. This got into my system, right? Some people will get a notion that there's I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have let that in. How did I let this in? Well, to refrain from the self-abandonment, the self-abuse, the self whatever. It's already here. It happened. We can assess that later. Right now, we're going to breathe into our body and feel into the tension. Is it in our neck? Is it in our back? Is it in our arms? Is it in our legs? Is it in our feet? Is it in our head? Is it in our skull? Right? Where's that tension? Breathe into the tension rather than giving it complete and utter control. So when we deny something, when we're in denial about something, it has already consumed us. It's such a multi-leveled system, right? So when we attach to something by denying it, denial is attachment. I wish I had a better language to help understand how this is working. But let's go back to the guy in the garage for a moment. So he's fully embodied in this, and he's like, okay, I have a modality in which I can release this. I have something to do. I have something to release this. So rather than processing it, he's just seeking to get it outside of himself, and that shows up through a injury that could have just been negated had he not had that fascia in his body so freaking tense that happened, okay? And then comes in the mental clarity too, when you are going about doing anything, keeping your safety, keeping your system under protection. We think of it as a control. We're going to control the way we move in order to keep safe. When in actuality, the protection comes with having the modality of saying, okay, not only do I feel threat, I sense it in my body, I can feel it in myself. I already know this, okay? And whether it's a flashback, whether it's a trigger point, whether it is somebody actually just totally, okay, set us off, whatever it is. The body's instructions are coming from you. So when we seek the modality of control through that tension in the body, we are self-abandoning. It sounds ass backwards and it sounds frivolous, but if we can identify control versus protection, there's your modality and your fork in the road, if you will, to choosing something that is going to either produce a protective outcome or produce the pain outcome. Okay, those are the two things. When we can get into the body, breathe into that point, wherever it is, however it's showing up, the body begins to register itself and accept where it's at rather than forcing the control in the body. So your body relaxes with the breath and you can tell yourself, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm livid, I just need to find my center again. I just need to breathe into the center of myself, find the mechanism that's tense and tight, loosen it, then I can begin to think clearly in order to process the situation. Okay? Sorry, a little wispies. Okay, so when we can pull back, take a few minutes, take a few breaths, and get into the system, breathe in to that modality that's causing the tension, breathe into it, okay, and then we begin to work. That's protection versus control. So when we are moving the energy through our system, we're not attempting to control it, we're attempting to protect ourselves from it. And that is, That's the key to sifting out the emotions without causing more damage, either to yourself or someone else. This works on so many different levels. I'm using anger because it's raw, it's real, and it's prevalent right now. It's the most accepted form in some circles of expression. So and this, even if you're not someone who goes out and, goes to the gym or goes to run or goes to whatever it is, when you have this switch that society has given you readily access to, okay, it's right, anchor is always right there for all of us, right? Regardless of the programming you've been given, either, the outlash or the suppression. This works for both sides of the spectrum and everywhere in between. When you get into the body, you breathe into it, and then you can move forward, do the task, work through the emotion, right? Energy in motion. So you're giving that energy, that anger, a portal to leave your system safely. That's protection versus control. So attempting to control the situation is going to induce more harm. When you attempt to protect yourself in the situation, you're going to become more aware of your system, breathe into the body, and then do the focusing on the task, whatever it is, fixing your garage door, whatever it is, digging a hole, playing in the dirt, whatever it is for you, going to the gym, doing the yoga, doing the Pilates, whatever it is, working that energy through the system. It's creating that safe portal for that emotion to leave your system in a functioning and productive manner rather than a controlling and destructive manner. So this is how we use these techniques and tools in the energetic field to release. And that's the whole point, right, of coming into our acknowledgement of having an emotional body. And everybody does. It's just how much are you paying attention? How much are you willing to sift through that energetic discomfort in order to produce something on the other side of it that's akin to alchemy? It really is. The breath alchemizes everything in the system. It doesn't matter the system. It's pure alchemy. So if you use the breath consciously to go through those modalities, and you do the same with joy, you do the same thing with joy. The joy comes in, you feel blissful. Don't seek to death grip it. Seek to embody it. Seek to remember the energetic pattern. Remember that moment. Remember the people that are with you. Remember that connection. Remember that environment. Whatever it is. Sorry, it's getting really dark. I apologize. So the system will set itself up in a consistent manner that you won't have to work so hard in the beginning like you did in the beginning to come into that space of non-panic. So the system is already running how the system was instructed to run from the beginning. And again, that comes with a lot of programming from the outside world. How are we going to handle this emotion? What movie character embodied this in that I identified and resonated with, and how did they handle it? Let's just bring it all the way in. Set yourself straight in alignment again, and then go do the thing. Release with that portal of safety, because the body is seeking, it's not seeking control. We really want to settle this into our brains, and I'm doing the best I can to this out, and in a way that's not so confusing. So the safety container, and this is, you know, like I brought up joy. The joy can be overwhelming. It can be lovely. It can be fantastic. But again, death gripping it and then out on everybody can be alarming, especially some people who are not used to seeing joy on the outside of themselves. And sometimes if we don't regulate the joy as well, it can come out in sort of weird mechanistic ways, like you can also be reckless with joy. You can have, like, I think they call it reckless abandonment. And it's self-abandoning when you just get overwhelmed with a particular positive emotion, joy, bliss, happiness, whatever it is, and you spend that energy. Some people spend it through money. They go out and spend a lot of money, or they spend a whole lot of time investing and trying to recreate the sensation that they had in that one blissful moment. And then other ways, they could, want to chase the high, if you will, get into drugs or different types of modalities of existing just to chase that high. And we see this a lot, especially in the spiritual community. Oh, I got this good, thing off shrooms, or I got this good thing off ayahuasca, or whatever it was. I don't know much about ayahuasca, but what I've heard from it is not that great. But some people have really powerful experiences, and now they're chasing that high. So that's how that can show up if we don't take it into our system and handle it through a protective mechanism rather than a controlling mechanism. So protective mechanism is going to show up in a way that serves yourself as well as everybody else around you. The control mechanism is going to put you in a state of constantly seeking. So now you've got a rush off the anger, you've got a high off the bliss, you've got a high off whatever, okay? Because it's chemicals flowing through your system. Now you've got that high, and now you want it again. So you are going to invoke it rather than let it move through you and out. I hope I'm explaining this correctly. I'm hoping this sticks, it resonates, it makes sense. This language is not very good for this type of work. So back to the guy in the garage. We had a long, deep conversation, the girls and I, about how that anger provides us with that tension in the body, and it stays with us. It's a resonance that I feel like it's getting so dark. I'm gonna need to light a candle or something. Okay, so the release of that pattern is crucial, because if you can think of it as like a river of life, and we are all in the river of life, we all have a river of energy flowing through us. If we can release the energy through a safe, protected portal where we take the abundance of bliss and release it in a way that is serving humanity, we can honor that feeling and emotion and honor our bodies and ourselves while we're in that emotion, and just bring it into our memory and anchor it, and then release through whatever guidance you're called to release it through. It doesn't have to be something exuberant. It can be anything. Oh, I am so overwhelmed with joy right now. I'm so overwhelmed with grace and gratitude. How can I alchemize that so my body remembers the pattern and it remembers how to seek it out, but I'm not attached to seeking it out continuously. But then in turn, I'm going to feed that energy back into the energetic system in a healthy, productive way. And a lot of times this looks like generosity. it looks a lot like generosity. So you're going to maybe whatever it is, I don't know, however you want, you can make you know, if you have somebody that's making a delivery to your house, leave them a little gift on top of a nice tip. You can bake cookies and give them out to your neighbors. You can make sure that your neighbors have, you know, gifts for Christmas. Whatever it is, right? And it doesn't have to be monetary either. You can, you know, if you have a whole plethora of candles in the house, you can give some candles away with some good well wishes and whatever. Whatever it is for you, if you want to keep that energy flowing through your life, you just keep it in a protected mechanism that flows out naturally from your heart. That's how you release the joy. So the body doesn't seek to hold on to it like it's a scarcity mindset, if that makes any sense. Because when we try to seek that high, it's going to come through as like, okay, the person putting out this energy into the ethos is of some sort of lack mindset. As I get like super creepy looking, I have yep, my candles are all the way over there. I apologize. Anyway, so I could turn on a bright light right now, but I really don't want to because it's bright for my eyeballs. So when we get into possibly holiday, lovely little, you know, scuffles, shall we say, little skedaddles on the emotional scale, we can remember that just taking a few deep breaths and releasing that tension from the body and getting a clear mind, when you have enough oxygen flowing through your head, you're not going to enter a state of panic, a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, because the system is well oxygenated. So you're telling the system, we're fine. Just through that breath, you're telling the nervous system, yeah, we got a spike there for a second, but we're going to think this through before we do anything, before we say anything, before we act on anything. We're going to cycle it through the system and remind the central nervous system, we're just fine. There's nothing really wrong here. We are not under direct threat. We're just perceiving it as such because we've been programmed to perceive negative words or spicy language as a threat, when in actuality it's just our ego getting a little ting, and it stings. Absolutely, it stings. So when dealing with going into the underworld, so the precise trigger isn't really a focal point. It's not a focal point. You don't need to make it the focus of the situation. The focal point needs to be getting yourself back into a state of stillness, into alignment, without letting the emotion completely engulf you. And that goes through, oh, I'm really pissed off, everything in my body is tense right now. Or it comes through, I'm just going to ignore, deny that had anything mean to, you know, I'm just going to step into the state of denial and then just refute the emotion altogether. Those two modalities, the one of denial is going to cause dis-ease in the body. So we don't deny, we call out, we say, hey, what did you mean by that? Hey, what was your intent with that? What was your goal behind that? What are you looking to achieve from this situation you just created? All those different modalities of not letting things slide, okay? Without throwing drinks and food and all that other blissful stuff, you know? So just trying to put some holiday cheer out, just a little. And then again, after the situation is calmed and you have asserted your boundaries, asserted the fact that you're not going to let things slide, that you do not have the intent to making yourself a doormat, okay, that's crucial as well, okay, that's self-abandonment. when we go into denial. Okay. So refraining from letting that happen, and then not allowing this tension to stay in the body, because that tension is going to actually increase the dosage of whatever energy you're getting. So whether it's anger or bliss, it doesn't matter. It's going to increase the dosage, which means when you leave that in the body, you're going to start to feed that with the mind, and the heart is going to follow. So if you can remember to breathe that energy in and say, I see you, I recognize you. We are going to remind ourselves that we are safe in our own bodies, that we do not let anybody else tell us who we are, and then safely release it through whatever modality. Maybe you take a walk, even though it's might be cold or chilly or whatever. If you live on the West Coast right now, do not take a walk out in a 8-foot supposed blizzard, but you can excuse yourself from the room, maybe go into the bathroom and do like 10 jumping jacks or something to release that emotion out of your system. Okay. And then, you know, ask for some candles to be lit, whatever it is that's going to calm your system. Okay. I feel like that covers it. If anything else comes through, I will make another video on it. But I had to get this in before the day is out, because it is so crucial for our path forward, is learning how to deal with the things that cause us that rift between knowing what control and protection is, because control feels like protection, but it's actually not. Okay, so that's what we're thinking when we're in overdrive of any emotions. We're going to control the situation. We're going to seek to contain this in some way, shape, or form. We've been given the illusion that control is protection. Okay. I hope that like sinks in. Okay. I think that's all. So just having discernment between those two modalities while we are out and about and engaging in holiday cheer, hopefully. Yeah. Okay. End of transmission. All right. May you have a glorious few days. I will probably go live on Christmas, hopefully. And then I might throw you a couple nuggets tomorrow and maybe go live in the evening. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. My Christmas tree light just popped on, so maybe I will. I will see how the festivities go on my end. Okay? So, until next time, I love you and keep your flame.